We are in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right on the shores of Lake Michigan, and I'm about to explore this great city over my shoulder. I'm Todd Walker with Viking.TV. Milwaukee, Wisconsin is known for so many different things. It's the beer capital of the world. I got to find out what makes it the beer capital of the world. It's also the place where Harley-Davidson got its start. So I'm going to be checking that out as well. Santiago Calatrava has these amazing wings, and he's a Spanish architect that he designed these wings in front of the Milwaukee Art Museum. The wings are larger than a 747. Can't wait to see that. And as a Viking guest, there's so many different excursions you can take part in. If you have a pre or a post and you're staying longer, the opportunities are endless. But you can start here and you can go on one of the shuttles that takes you right over to the Milwaukee Public Market, which is in the historic 3rd Ward, and you can explore the downtown area, including the Riverwalk. Now, the Riverwalk goes all along downtown in Milwaukee, and at the end, what do you think is there? The Bronze Faun. So I can't wait to check out the Bronze Fauns and rub the shoulders with him as well. Well, this is going to be a great city, and I can't wait to get out and explore. As a Viking guest, you have many opportunities to tour around the beautiful city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is right behind me here. But one of the stars of the show, one of the gems that you absolutely cannot miss, is the Calatrava wings right here at the Milwaukee Art Museum. I'm here with Amy. Good morning, Amy. How are you?
Good morning, Todd. It's great to see you.
Great to see you as well. Okay, so let's first talk a little bit about these wings because they're so spectacular, and many people will probably know the architect because he's also famous for the Oculus in New York City as well, correct?
He is indeed. Architect Santiago Calatrava from Spain.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the size of it because you probably can't even capture the enormous wingspan that we're looking at behind me here. It's actually larger than a 747, is that right?
It is indeed.
Okay, now the wings open at 10 o'clock every morning, correct?
Yes, weather permitting, because
Okay.
they have the wingspan of a 747. If the winds are too strong, they don't open, so we don't take off. But yes, they open at 10 a.m. and then they flap at noon, so they close and reopen, so people can see the full mechanism.
Okay, so right now we are on the pedestrian bridge.
Correct.
And so people can come out here at 10 o'clock, watch the opening. I've watched it more than once. I must say, it's mesmerizing to watch and just to see these wings open up. It's absolutely beautiful. So be sure to put that on your calendar of things to do. But there's much more to see inside the museum as well, correct?
There is indeed. We're looking at really our largest work of art, this sculptural building that Calatrava designed for this site on the shores of Lake Michigan, but the building houses over 32,000 works of art from antiquity to present, and there's so much to see. We have strengths in American art, in Haitian art, folk and self-taught German art, a lot of modern and contemporary. There's something for everyone.
All right, so Amy, that was a great tease for me, so I think we should step inside and you can show me some of the highlights of the Milwaukee Art Museum.
Well, Todd, now that we've entered the Milwaukee Art Museum, you can see this sort of beautiful expansive space of the interior designed by Santiago Calatrava. As I said, our largest work of art, the sculptural form, there's sort of no straight edges, all the use of concrete to really create a sculptural expression. And you can see the idea of a ship continuing.
You really can.
Yeah, for your Viking guests. We actually call this the prow. The formal name of the space is Windover Hall, after a poem by Gerard Manley Hopkins of a bird hovering in the air, but we also call it the prow because it's like the prow of a ship about to set sail on Lake Michigan.
So this is a great viewing spot where people want to look at Lake Michigan and check it out from here and maybe even see their ship over there.
Absolutely, and we always enjoy watching the ships do indeed come in to the Milwaukee port from here.
So you can see the ship coming in?
You can see them approciing on the horizon. I've seen many of them arrive.
Oh my gosh,
yes,
really?
Yes. And
this has to be amazing when the sun comes in the morning, and even just seeing like the snowfall. Is this just a magical spot?
It is indeed, and Calatrava uses white. It's sort of his signature look, and it allows for so much beautiful play of light and color. It is indeed east facing, so we have gorgeous sunrises, and also in the dusk year-round. It's beautiful in summer, winter, and fall, as you said.
Amy, how can you ever be in a bad mood? But having something like this, getting up and coming to work in the morning and having a structure like this, it has to put you immediately in a great mood.
It does indeed. I've I've worked here over 20 years and it doesn't get old.
Wow. All right, so what are some of the other spaces we're looking at here?
Well, we're actually standing above our restaurant, which is well worth visiting because that also shares the lake view. This is open space that we host events. Again, you can really celebrate the beauty of the architecture.
And is this one of the other permanent galleries down here?
Yeah, so we have 2 galleries that actually take us into, we have 2 additional buildings that house our collection of art. Okay. So most works of art actually prefer to be out of sunlight. So those are the galleries that are windowless, and we enjoy the windows and the natural light here.
All right, now I have to ask you about this, because when you do enter the museum, you see this amazing structure above here. What can you share with me about this?
Well, this is actually by the American artist Alexander Calder. It's one of his mobiles. He designs ones that move in currents naturally, and also ones that run on a motor. And this one runs on a motor. It actually used to be part of the county, the Milwaukee County, and it was at the Milwaukee County Airport when Calatrava was designing this building. And he saw it there and said, I would like that very much in this new building.
So he saw it at the airport and then had the power to say, I want that piece. So if I say to you right now, Amy, I would kind of like that in my living room. You think you would agree to maybe have me take it home with me?
First of all, I'd love to see the size of your living room.
Exactly.
Yes, but it is, it has come into the collection now at the Milwaukee Art Museum, and it's a great, it's just perfect for this spot. I can see why Calatrava was so excited about it, because he does have this white form, and then we have these pops of color. And you know what? We do a lot of school tours here at the Milwaukee Art Museum and welcome families, and our docents love to take kids down. We have this oculus here, and if you take kids down to the lower level and look up, it's almost as if you're navigating by the stars.
Oh, yeah.
It adds to that ship journey.
It does, and you know what I love about it is everything is so stark white, and the beautiful windows, and then you have these splashes of color above you. It's just, it's remarkable. Well, it's certainly no secret where I am right now. Yes, I'm at Harley-Davidson, the 20-acre campus and museum right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee, Wisconsin is actually the headquarters of Harley-Davidson. I must say, whether you're a biker or you're not a biker, this is something I would definitely put near the top of my list when you visit Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And today, I'm very pleased to share with you that we have the opportunity to talk to one of the great grandsons of one of the founders of Harley-Davidson. Mr. Davidson, you have to tell me about this amazing museum that we are on right now.
Todd, it is amazing. It's a 20-acre campus of nothing but the soul and essence of Harley-Davidson. From serial number 1, which we're about to go take a look at.
The very first one?
The very first one.
Okay.
And this was a bike that my relatives, William A. Davidson, my great-grandfather, his 2 brothers, Walter and Arthur, and their good friend, Bill Harley, put together in a little 10 by 15 foot wooden shed in my great-great-grandfather's backyard. And it's amazing to know that that is just one of the ingredients that we have in this museum, because we have a bike from every year we've been in production since 1903 all the way to present.
Right here on this campus?
Right here on this
All right,
campus.
well, I think we should start at the very first bike, and then you can kind of walk me through, maneuver me through this campus here at Harley-Davidson. Any chance that you can get us a Harley-Davidson to go through these walls?
Well, you know, we might be able to jump on a few motorcycles and check out the campus.
I think we should be doing the tour through the hallways, and just so you know, Bill, I drive a little Vespa scooter, so
okay.
I'm not sure I fit into this league.
We could take that up a couple of notches, and you really get the feel and the sound and the look of a Harley-Davidson.
All right, maybe I'll be there by the end. All right, let's start where it all began. Ready, Bill?
Sounds great.
Come on.
So Todd, this is our wall of fame. This is my great-grandfather. This is Walter Davidson, his brother. Arthur Davidson, their other brother, and their great friend, Bill Harley. So 3 Davidson brothers and Bill Harley working in a 10 by 15 foot wooden shed, which is actually this outline on the floor, highlighted here to give people an idea of the working environment they were within.
So Bill, so there was 4 guys Three
guys.
Davidson, one Harley.
Yep.
And so this is like their shop.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yep.
And so they would get together. And what was the age range of those guys? Were they like?
So they were in their early 20s. And what's so awesome is this was their dream. They didn't have a lot. They were going after this, and Bill Harley had a background working for a bicycle manufacturer by the name of Muselbach in Milwaukee, so he had a lot of two-wheeled transportation knowledge. And they said, you know, wouldn't it be cool to make a powered, quote-unquote, bicycle? And as they began to pursue that, and the more they learned, they ended up with this unbelievable motorcycle, which a lot of knowledge that Bill Harley, who was kind of the chief engineer of the four, that said, hey, we could put power to a bicycle. That was the thinking.
Okay.
But as they got into it, they kind of said, you know, we can go a better route. And that's when they came up with a chassis design and an engine design as a complete unit.
So this is a replica or the original?
No, this is serial number one.
Wow.
This is the real deal. And it is amazing that we have it. You hear about so many companies that start and they don't have a reference to what they started with. And to know that this is 121 years old and in this pristine condition, it's just amazing.
That is remarkable. I mean, I'm shocked that this is the original that we're looking at right here.
Yeah. And, you know, Todd, it's really cool because I often am asked, what is my favorite motorcycle in the museum? And my first response is, all of them.
Sure, of course.
But then when I say, if I really think about it, it's serial number one because it's my family.
Oh,
this
yeah.
was the beginnings, and this was the beginnings really to a global brand that has been so successful, catering
Wow.
to so many people. So this exhibit, I love this exhibit. It's one of the best exhibits we have in the museum because it truly shows all the different systems of a motorcycle, from the exhaust system to the fluid systems, the gas and oil, the chassis, the powertrain or the engine, the fenders, the sheet metal, the wheels, the lighting, and it gives people a glimpse of truly how a motorcycle comes together. And the one thing I love about this is it shows people that when we design motorcycles, it's a little bit different because, for example, take a car, you have space where you can put things, hide things. On a motorcycle, everything's visible. So you've got to design it so it looks good no matter what the function is.
Never thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And so talk to me a little bit about this wall behind us here. This is fascinating.
This is an amazing display depicting the history of all of the different powertrains that we have made from 1903 all the way up to 2024. And what I love about it is it shows how we have evolved and in some cases revolutionized motorcycle engines. And the center line is representative of our V-twins, two-cylinder V-twin engine that is synonymous with Harley-Davidson. V-twin engines synonymous with Harley. V-twins fit in the chassis very efficiently for a motorcycle. It's narrow, it's compact. When you stand back and look at all these different powertrains, I think about all the engineering and testing and development that went behind every single one of these engines, and it's amazing. It's
remarkable to see how different and how unique each
Yes.
one is. I would have never thought that
Yes.
unless you're looking at this wall
Yes.
up close like this.
Yeah.
Now, Bill, I have to ask you, as I was wandering around the museum earlier today, I was taken back by walking through some of the galleries and the different layers and the different impact that Harley-Davidson has had on our American history.
Yes.
And especially back in the corner, there was a Harley-Davidson that was actually used in which World War?
World War II.
World War II. Yeah. All right, I would like to take our viewers back there and show them that bike, and maybe you can educate me a little bit on it, because it was fascinating to see.
I would love to.
All right, let's check it out.
All right, sounds good. So Todd, this is an amazing motorcycle because it truly is a workhorse. This was designed for the US Army, World War II, and these bikes were used on rugged terrain, not paved roads, off-road ruts, you name it. The terrain was whatever got thrown at them, this bike would go through it.
I had
amazing.
Absolutely no idea. And when I was looking at this, can you just tell me a little bit about it? I noticed there's a place for a rifle right there.
Yes, yes. So these were utilitarian motorcycles. They were used in wartime effort. And so the bike is equipped with many different things, ammunition boxes, rifles. They have blackout lights. That's what's on the front end here, where the headlight would go off and you had this little blackout light there for nighttime activity. And we built tens of thousands of these motorcycles. And there's a really neat story I'd love to share with you related to this phenomenal motorcycle, which was truly regarded as a workhorse. It was very durable, reliable, dependable, and the men and women that were trained on how to ride these, how to service them, kind of fell in love with these motorcycles. So after World War II, we had a surplus of these. And men and women returning from wartime effort wanted to experience riding motorcycles in their newfound freedom.
Oh, wow.
And so they were able to buy these at very reasonable prices, and they took them and they customized them. They took off a lot of the accessories, they chopped the rear fenders, so in other words, they cut the fender, and then the bikes were repainted, and this was the beginning of the motorcycle custom scene. So this is our tsunami bike display. This motorcycle generated a lot of media when this occurred, and it's really an incredible story. It really, really is. And if you recall back, there was a major tsunami that hit Japan in March of 2011. And this poor gentleman's house and his items that he owned floated out to sea. And the bike floated about 4,000 miles over to British Columbia. And in 2012, there was a gentleman by the name of Peter Mark who was out on an ATV combing the beach. And he came upon, you can see in the display, that top photo is a photo of a storage container.
Yeah, I see it. Okay.
Within that were a set of golf clubs and this motorcycle that had floated from Japan over to British Columbia as a result of the tsunami. He was by himself. He had no way to get this to a place where he could do anything with it. So he went to get some help. He acquired the help of a local Harley-Davidson dealer. And they came out, they retrieved the motorcycle, but when they got back to try and find where the bike was, it was almost completely buried in the beach and the sand.
Oh my gosh,
because
really?
The tide going back and forth had destroyed the storage container, and the bike was starting to be buried in the sand. They got it out, they took it to the dealership, word of mouth got out. I got a phone call about the bike, and the first thing I said is there a license plate on that motorcycle?
Wow.
Because I knew I could contact somebody in our Japanese subsidiary to help me find the original owner. So there's a license plate on the bike. They looked it up. They got the gentleman's name. They contacted him.
So he was still alive?
He was still alive.
Wow.
And we offered to give him a brand new motorcycle. But in his humble way, he said, I can't accept that. I appreciate it, but I can't accept it because there are so many people that are worse off than I am. But what I really want is I want my motorcycle to be a tribute to all the people that lost their lives, and I want it to be on display in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Harley-Davidson Museum.
Wow. That is an amazing story. So you honored his wish.
And that's
obviously.
how we ended up with it. And it's amazing. And we did some work with the Smithsonian Maritime Museum to see if there was anything we could do to preserve it. But because it had been in salt water for almost a year, it's just the salt water has penetrated the structure of the materials, and it's continually disintegrating, as you can see.
Oh, wow. What a story. Thank you so much for sharing that, Bill.
Absolutely.
That's remarkable.
It is an amazing story. You know, Todd, I have been thinking about what you might really love in a Harley-Davidson motorcycle.
Okay.
And I have picked out just the one for you. It's got your name all over it.
All right. Okay, what am I getting on here, Bill?
This is our Lowrider ST, and it is a phenomenal motorcycle. I've been able to ride a couple of these, and I absolutely love this motorcycle.
All right. Well, Bill, here's the deal. I've got a deal for you. How about you take my scooter, I take this Harley, and we're ready to roll. Deal?
Well, I can't accept it.
We're gonna get on the open road.
But you know what? I would be right next to you on my Harley when you're on your new Harley going down the highway.
Sold. Let's
All
ride,
right,
Bill.
Sounds good.
Milwaukee's the beer capital of the world, and we're going to check in with one of the new players, and that would be Lakefront Brewery and the owner, Russ. All right, Russ, you are going to be my beer expert today, okay?
Great.
So, being the beer capital of the world, they pointed me to you, Russ, to say everything there is that people need to know about Milwaukee and their beer culture. So, first of all, I need a little bit of history lesson, so let's back way up and tell me about how Milwaukee became the beer capital of the world.
I guess it all started with the beer capital in that Milwaukee is the most Germanic city in the United States. More Germans live here than any other place. And Germans were thirsty, and so they wanted to bring a brewery here. And so many breweries came. There's several that became very famous, like Pabst, Miller, and Schlitz. And those became the heritage breweries of the city of Milwaukee.
Now, then of course we went from that original where you just simply had, everybody knew the PBR, everybody knew the Miller, everybody knew the Schlitz and the Blatz, and those were the ones everybody knew. And then all of a sudden things changed a little bit, and it became this craft brewing culture,
Yes.
correct? So tell me a little bit about how that got started and some of the leaders in that industry here in Milwaukee.
Yes, as the breweries started dropping out back around the 70s and 80s, taste became more bland, and people like Randy Sprecher and myself started opening their own breweries. They had Sprecher Brewery, Lakefront Brewery, and Milwaukee Brewing Company in town. We have a very dynamic scene here in town with craft breweries. We have almost 30 in town right now that you can go to of all different styles, all different types. So Milwaukee is still the beer capital of the world, I like to think.
Of the world.
Yes.
You rule the world with
Rule
beer,
the
right?
world, still here. We still know it. It's not only that, the allied industry and everybody else is here too from all.
Okay, now the Viking guests, when they arrive in port, this is one of the excursions that they can take
Yes,
advantage of.
come here.
So tell me a little bit about what the experience is like when they come inside the Lakefront Brewery.
Well, we have one of the most authentic beer halls in the United States. Big long tables, big open room, nice banners. We have great beer hall food that goes along with it. You also get to have a tour of the brewery. And we do our tours a little differently here. We don't have like a screen or you don't watch a show. We hire theater people, we hire comics to come in and tell you, some jokes along the way and make it entertaining.
Well, that's cool. I like that idea.
Yeah, and so it's not really a beer commercial, you see. It's more of an entertainment that you receive. And so that's nice about it.
So when the guests get here, they get a brewery tour.
Yes.
Right? They get to spend some time in the traditional beer hall,
yes.
which I haven't seen yet. You're going to show me in a little bit. And this is like a German beer hall,
yes.
correct? And they get to sample some of the traditional German food that you would be serving here in the beer hall.
Along with the beer.
All right, so we've got beer, we've got a tour, we've got traditional food.
Yes.
The only thing that's missing is I have not had a chance to try it.
Oh, we'll have to get you some.
All right, well, let's give it a shot, okay?
All right.
All right, let's go. All right, Russ, it looks like we have a very nice assortment of beers. Walk me through what each one of these beers are and what makes them unique.
Sure. We start off with our dive beer. This is a Milwaukee lager made of all pale malt, a little lighter in flavor. So if you taste that one, that's what you would find. A lighter,
And it's a
crisp
dive beer.
Dive beer,
Okay.
just like you go to a dive bar, but it's something you would drink there. It's very similar.
All right, what is this here?
That's our Hazy Rabbit IPA.
Hazy Rabbit, all right? Hazy Rabbit IPA?
Yes, has the a nice citrus aroma or
Yeah,
flavor.
it definitely can
that you
taste the
have to have.
citrus. And what do we have here?
We have our River West Stein, our amber lager, made with amber or caramel colored malts to give it that amber color. And we also have our Bavarian style East Side Dark with roasted malts, like your roasted coffee bean we put in there.
I'm enjoying them all. I can see why I would maybe enjoy each one for different occasions. There's a real fall flavor over here, but I'm going to pull this one aside because I think that's my favorite. Now, I did notice that you have a whole wall of beers over there and taps, so something tells me you have more than just 4.
Yes, we have 18 beers all the time on tap here at the brewery, plus some of the other seasonals in cans.
All right. Well, this looks amazing, absolutely amazing. But I got to tell you, I've heard you also have some pretty great food items as well.
Yes, we do.
All right. So all of a sudden, magically, what appears? But the food.
Yeah.
Thank you both. All right. So wow. All right, you got to tell me what we have here, and also I want to know where else you can buy these beers. Is it just simply here at the brewery, or all over?
We're most major liquor stores and restaurant and bars here in town. You can find it all around here, and our gluten-free beer goes into 30 different states around the country.
Okay, and here, these look like some
cheese curds.
Very large cheese curds.
Yes, they are large.
Wow, Russ, that's a cheese curd.
We don't give a little bite here. We give the bigger ones. That's important. Less batter with a bigger
less
curd.
batter.
Yes.
Liking that idea.
And
Look
so
at that.
You can pull it. You can tell it's
squeaky.
It's squeaky, and yeah, you can always tell a good one that pulls apart.
All right, and here it looks like we have some sausages with some onions on top.
Yes, we have Usinger sausages right there with the onions. We also have some pretzel bites.
Oh, okay.
That are also on there. Great for dipping with the mustard.
And these are great shareable foods, right?
Great shareable foods. You can good things you can munch on very quickly. It comes out of the kitchen quick.
Now, Russ, that is a pretzel. Look at the size of this.
It is. It's a great part. We're known for our pretzels. That's from Milwaukee Pretzel Company here. We also have great dipping sauces with it from our Abatza, mustard, and cheese sauce. All of it goes very good, very shareable, something you can have very quickly for a quick bite if you come.
All right, I got to tell you, you've sold me there, Russ. You've definitely sold me. I will be returning to Lakefront. And I have to say, this, I'm sure, is a very popular excursion for the Viking guests to come on down here for Lakefront. Get a little beer education. I'm sure you'll be here to tell people about the history of beer.
It is. It's about as Milwaukee as you can get here. We got the beer, the old beer hall, right on the river, industrial building.
Yeah, it's amazing.
This is it.
Well, cheers to you and cheers to your success.
Yep.
We're now in the historic 3rd Ward, and we're about to venture into the Milwaukee Public Market. This is an area that focuses kind of art, culture, and cuisine. There's a lot of revitalized warehouses in this space. It's also the place where you're going to find a river walk that cuts right down through the city, and you can check out some of the great art installations as well. So I'm excited to find out what they have in store here in the Milwaukee Public Market. And I'm here with Paul. How are you?
Good to see you.
Great to meet you. Great to meet you. So I have not been inside, so I thought you could kind of give me a little bit of a teaser as to what I can expect. But let's begin with, how did this even come to be?
So the history of the market is that as it was really starting to become more of a vibrant neighborhood, and as they were thinking about anchors to put in this neighborhood, a group of local businessmen and women, community organizers and planners explored other markets around the country, and they thought this would be a great city to include a public market of our very own. It was a lengthy process, a lot of research was done, but what they discovered is that they were going around a Pike Place market, some other markets on the East Coast and other areas of the country, was that these, at their essence, are supposed to celebrate the local food scene, not only prepared food, but what people can grow and make on their own, whether it's cheeses through our great dairy industry and others. So
I noticed when I actually arrived here that the signage in front did remind me of something, and now when I look at it, I think it kind of reminded me of the look of the entrance of the public market and the Pike Street Market in Seattle.
It's a great homage to and a hat tip to some of the iconic public markets in the country. Pike Place is obviously the number one in terms of.
So do you have anybody
iconic
that's throwing fish?
The health department gets a little questionable about
All
that.
right,
Yeah.
so tell me what I'm going to find when I go inside, and some of the highlights, some of the things that you're most proud of inside the public market.
Obviously, fish and some of the grocery elements here. You'll find over 200 styles of cheeses that are all sourced within the Wisconsin area. We have our own wine vendor who has wine from all over the country, especially and from California and others. You basically get a taste and sights and smells of everything great about Milwaukee and southeastern Wisconsin in one stop.
One of the excursions that is available to Viking guests here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is visiting the Pabst Mansion. This is a pretty remarkable space, so I'm going to give you kind of a sneak peek in what you will see if you take advantage of the excursion to visit the mansion. I'm joined by Brittany Williams with the Pabst Mansion. Welcome, Brittany.
Welcome.
So Brittany, first of all, you walk inside this mansion and it literally is one of those jaw-dropping experiences. This is absolutely remarkable. I'm sure that the Viking guests are really going to enjoy stopping by and learning all about the Pabst family. So the Pabst family were considered beer barons here in Milwaukee, and were one of the families that actually formed the city of Milwaukee and bringing it to what it is today. So help me understand a little bit more about the Pabst family and the history and the legacy.
Yeah, so when Captain Pabst was at the helm of Pabst Brewing, he wasn't just one of the largest beer loggers in the world at the time, producing almost 1 million barrels. He was super influential in Milwaukee. So he was truly an entrepreneur. He owned the Pabst Theater. He had multiple hotels, not just here, around the world. He had a hotel in Harlem that would sit 1,200 people. He started a German library here for literacy for children, the Humane Society here in Milwaukee. He had restaurants, so his influence was all over the city. He was very charitable, so he was a little bit of everywhere.
Wow, that's interesting. He had his hand in being influential in many different areas, especially here in the city of Milwaukee.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the size of the house, the number of rooms, the number of bedrooms, and what is actually on this property.
So there's 20,000 square feet now. Originally, we did go back all the way to the street behind us, but unfortunately, we were almost torn down. There were gardens, there was a greenhouse, there was a beautiful carriage house that modeled this original house, but unfortunately, we are now left to 20,000 square feet standing.
Wow, they almost tore down this mansion?
They did, yes. So after the Pabst family moved out in 1906, the house sat empty for 2 years. The Archdiocese bought it. So the Catholic Church ran the house for 67 years. They didn't need it anymore. So they did sell it to what was the Holiday Inn next door. The Holiday Inn said, we're going to make a parking lot.
Oh man,
Right.
seriously, they were going to take it down?
Yes, they were going to bulldoze it down, make a parking lot. But a group of women got together in the community and said, we're not going to let that happen. So they raised the money, they got the capital, and in the 1970s, they actually saved the house. And we became a nonprofit and a museum, and we're still standing today.
Wow, it sounds like we have a lot to look at here in the Pabst Mansion.
So Todd, we are in the ladies' parlor. This is Mrs. Pabst's parlor. So she designed this parlor to look like the French hotels that she was seeing when she traveled to France. So it is done in the French Rococo style. You have to think the Palace of Versailles. So this is actually French silk from a company in France.
Wow, talk about ornate.
Right. So it's the walls are actually a 14 karat gold inlay. I like to talk in this room about the fact that if we were not a house museum, we would be an art museum. Captain Pabst was a lover of art. We actually have 2 art collections in the house. So one is Pabst, so art collections that he picked himself or from his businesses. The other is another famous beer family called the Blatz collection. They left their art to the Parks Department, who gifted it to us, and it's now on display in the house.
Wow. And so the ladies would have enjoyed this room having tea and just kind of socializing?
Well, actually, probably coffee and cake, because
Okay.
Germans prefer coffee over tea.
Oh,
Yeah. So after
interesting
dinner,
fact.
women would come to this room, have coffee and cake. You can actually close off the curtains or the doors over there. And the men would go back to the office, which we're going to look at, and have probably cigar, brandy, have a drink, maybe a Pabst. So Todd, we are now in the dining room. This is the Pabst original dining table. So it did seat 22 people originally. We do have the tables and the chairs, but this is where that grand dinner party would have taken place underneath one of their original light fixtures.
So
one of
that's
the few left.
original?
Yes.
Wow. So what year about would that be?
So the house was built in 1892, so it's original to 1892.
Holy cow.
Now, amazing thing about this room is also the ceilings, original ceilings to the house. A lot of the ceilings in the house are very ornate. You look at the gold inlay as well. And then, of course, if you look at the details of the woodworking in the room, how it just matches the ornate of the ceilings.
Oh yeah. It
And the
almost
woodwork
looks like
of
a
the
mirrored
buildings.
image of some of the areas of the ceiling. I mean, they're both so ornate. So tell me a little bit about these paintings above the doorways.
Yes, so those were done by their son-in-law, Otto von Ernst, and there are several of them in the rooms on this first floor. They depict places like ancient Rome, ancient Greece, but they're inspired by them. So a lot of the houses on the street would have had them at that time.
Wow. Brittany, you told me a little bit about the study. Now, the study is also on this floor?
Yes, sir.
All right, I say we go check that out.
He designed this himself, and one of the things that he designed in this room were 14 hidden compartments in the walls. I'll actually show you one. They're really cool.
Okay.
They all open with secret hidden latches in different places. So this one, for example, is up here, opens up.
So why do you suppose he needed little hidden compartments? And
So-
14 of them in one room?
Right, he had a safe, so they really just for books, and on it, it just looks neat.
Oh, okay. That's pretty clever. All right, now the ceiling is actually really interesting too with all these inlays.
It is, and what this is it represents his life. So in the middle are different German phrases that he loved and he lived by, and then the sides represent his actual life. So the ceiling represents who he was.
Oh man, this is a very, very cool room.
So Todd, now we are in Emma's room. That was Captain Pabst's youngest daughter. So she did live here when they moved in. And her room is done in the English Regency style. So if you look around, again, original silk wall coverings like in that parlor. And then of course, look at the ceilings. Look how amazing this gold and this green are.
Yeah, the ceilings in each one of these rooms, I find probably the
Right.
area that I find most remarkable.
Right, well, and here's the funny thing about it is Emma loved this room so much that when she married her second husband, because her first had passed away, her wedding gift was a fully furnished mansion in Germany. So she had this exact room replicated in that mansion. So she did take
Wow.
her belongings with her, but we were able to replicate this rug from the company. So it is a replica, but it's the exact one that she had in this room.
Holy cow. Well, this is a remarkable, remarkable room. Everything that this mansion has been so enjoyable. So I have to tell you, thank you so much for your time today and this great tour of the Pabst Mansion.
Well, we're not done, Todd, because I have a surprise for you.
You do?
Yeah, come on.
All right, okay.
So Todd, we're gonna end the tour the way that we do for the Viking guests.
Okay. She's got me kind of wondering here.
Having a Pabst at the Pabst.
Okay, that's pretty amazing. All right. Well, I have to tell you, this has really, really been enjoyable. Cheers to you, but I now have a question for you.
Okay.
Can you tell me where the blue ribbon came from? I mean, I understand the Pabst. You've been great at telling us all about that, but the blue ribbon?
So this is actually all Captain Pabst's idea, and it's just marketing. So the beer never won a blue ribbon. Their horses won blue ribbons at the St. Louis World's Fair. Captain Pabst was thinking to himself, if you're looking at beers on a shelf, which one are you going to pick? Well, you're going to pick the one with the blue ribbon tied around it. So they physically tied blue ribbons around the bottle until there's a blue ribbon shortage in the 1940s. So you'd pick the winner.
Wow, that is a great story. That's one that I'm sure many people will be repeating. I had no idea where the blue ribbon came from. I'm sure this is really an enjoyable time for the Viking guests to visit the Pabst Mansion.
Yes, sir.
All right, cheers to you, and thank you
Cheers.
so much for your time. Definitely, you will enjoy your time at the Pabst Mansion on one of the Viking excursions. Cheers. A portion of downtown Milwaukee is actually built on cedar pilings. Even this massive structure behind me here, which is the City Hall. And up until the early 1900s, it was the tallest occupied building. And fun fact, halfway up the City Hall, there was a man who lived there. And every hour, he had to go up and ring the bell, signifying the time of day. Throughout the city of Milwaukee, you'll notice many sculptures like the one over my shoulder here. And if you're interested in the sculptures, they actually have a specific tour called the Milwaukee Sculpture Tour. Now it's time to try Milwaukee's famous bratwurst and sausages. We're here at Usinger's. They have been around since 1880. We're going to talk to a fourth generation Usinger. Let's check it out. I am here with Fritz. How are you?
Great, Todd.
Great
Good to have you here.
Thank you so much. Great to meet you. Well, first of all, you've got to give me a little bit of the background. How did Milwaukee, Wisconsin become the home and the capital of brats and of sausages right here?
Well, Milwaukee during the 1800s, had a large immigration of people from Germany. And of course, when they come from their home, they want things that they're used to.
Familiarity.
Familiarity,
Sure.
Right. So Milwaukee has a lot of brewing, and of course we have sausage making, and had a lot of nice German bakeries back in the day as well.
Okay, so tell me some of the items that are great sellers here that you're really proud of here at Usinger's, because you definitely pulled some product right out here for me.
So we are in our Old World retail shop on Old World 3rd Street. We've maintained the store as it was from the turn of the century, the fixtures in the store. And it's really our showpiece of being able to have our product on display that people can try and sample and purchase. So we make about 125 different sausage items.
125?
Correct. So
wow.
we are a vast producer of a wide variety of traditional European and German style sausages. We sell them out of our retail store here and in select stores around the country, actually. And we also mail order. So you can buy product and we'll ship it right to your house. So that's what we do here.
All right, so what do we have here? So what are some of the ones that you're most proud of, or that people from around the world say, I need that Usinger blank?
Well, Todd, we make 125 different items.
Okay, but
that's like saying, which is your favorite child?
Right. So you have a favorite child, I bet, right? Okay.
No. So anyway, what I pulled together a couple of things like our German style mortadella with pistachio nuts, our Thuringer style summer sausage, which is pork and beef with whole white peppercorns. This product right here is called a saucition. It's a pork sausage that's coiled and put on a skewer through it. Very handmade, very unique.
I have to say, I've never seen anything like this.
Right, and of course, pre-cooked brats, the white German kind of brat. And then we have some different kinds of summer sausage here. Our applewood smoked bacon. One of the things that's unique about us is we have 2-story brick smokehouses where the fire is made below and the product is smoked above the smoldering embers, which is very unique nowadays. That's how it used to be done generations ago, but not anymore. Now they have a stainless steel box and they pump some smoke in it. So
Okay.
these are smoked over an open fire. Basically, that's the method of smoking we do. That's how it was done generations ago. We use fresh garlic, we use fresh onions. We don't use monosodium glutamate or extenders or those sorts of things.
It's all fresh, natural products.
We base our recipes on what my great-grandfather brought over from Germany. He was a sausage maker there, came to the United States. He had his favorite recipes. That's what we still do.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, tell us a little bit about the experience. So when the Viking guests get off the expedition ship, they come in here into downtown Milwaukee and they want to walk around the store and try some of the sausages. What is the experience like in here?
Well, first off, our neighborhood was where we're located was the original shopping district for people of German heritage when they came to Milwaukee. So this is why we're located here on what was called Old World 3rd Street.
Okay.
And they would come and get their cheese and their sausage and their bakery and have some beer and enjoy themselves. What we have here is a couple of different selections I have for us to try. We have, this is Landjäger. This is a pork and beef sausage coarsely ground. It has caraway seed in it. It is smoked for approximately 18 hours. And it's it's what we call shelf stable because its origins were, it was a hunter's sausage. They could put it in their pocket, hunt all day long, not have to worry about refrigeration. So
That's really great. Tell me, in your house at home, do you eat sausage every day? Do you have like rolls of this out and you have people over? I mean, is it still a staple in your household?
Well, very much, yes. The other thing is we feed all our employees twice a day, and we feed them sausage because it's a tradition going back to when the company was founded, and it's also our front line of quality control because people who are making the product tend to have favorites that they like, and they are eating that product over and over and over again, and they can more readily detect a subtle difference in the product than someone who eats it once a month.
So your employees are actually like the taste testers.
Correct.
Every day to be sure it's coming out and has the quality control that you're proud of your sausages that's been around since 1880.
Twice a day.
Wow.
So they get hot sausage in the morning and noon is cold cuts.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty amazing. But I have another question for you.
Sure.
Now, everybody talks about how to make the perfect bratwurst.
Right.
What are your thoughts on boiling it in beer, using beer? I mean, come on, give me some insider tips here.
Well,
your family's been doing this since 1880.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit prejudiced.
Okay.
Right. So I'm a sausage maker.
All right.
So when you're making your sausage, the seasoning blend that you have is intended for a certain purpose. So when you create a fresh bratwurst, the purpose of it is to go from the fresh state onto your grill, nothing in between. So
that would take out the beer.
That would take out the beer
Okay.
and parboiling, because those things leach spice flavor out of the product. So now in the case of something like a cooked bratwurst, where we pre-cook it and then the consumer basically just grills it and heats it through, the spice level that we put in is going to be higher. Because the first cooking takes some spice flavor out.
Okay.
So for fresh brats, I always recommend going on the grill low and slow. Get the opposite of like putting a steak on. A steak, you sear it, right?
Correct.
No. You got to do this low and slow.
So that's for the fresh brat. So if
Correct.
you come into Ersinger's and you buy a fresh brat, go home, don't do anything to it, don't boil it in beer.
No.
You want to just take it out of the packaging, put it right on slow.
Slow. So
Okay.
you start off at the coldest part of the grill and slowly work your way into the hottest part. You've got to give time for the meat to expand with inside the casing.
Okay.
So you don't burst the casing.
So you don't want to burst the casing?
No, because when you burst the casing, all the flavorful spice juices run out onto your coals and create a big fire.
Fritz, you're going to be so disappointed in me. Every time I put a brat on the grill, I think it's not done until it cracks.
Right.
But that's wrong.
So you want to go right. You want to go low and slow, and then at the end, when you feel it's pretty well done, then you sear it. Okay. That's when you would apply the greatest amount of heat to crisp up the outside and brown it. So you've given it a chance to acclimate to the grill. You've given a chance the casing and the meat to expand while it's cooking, and then at the end you give it the real heat. I call it the 2-beer method.
What is the 2-beer method?
The 2-beer method is the time it takes you to drink 2 beers, like an adult, not an 18-year-old.
Okay.
So
it's not guzzling it like this.
Right.
Okay.
Your brat will be done. So that's how you do it, and it's a social event to be at the grill.
So it's a 2-beer. It's
the
a 2-beer
method.
Okay.
In you, 2 beers, not in the sausage or on the sausage.
All right. Okay. Well,
so, and then once it's done off the grill, you serve it. You don't
right away.
You don't put it in boiling beer, and you don't leave it languish.
All right.
Grilled a bun.
Well, Fritz, it looks like you have prepared a perfect Ersinger's brat for me, covered in onions, cut in a nice bun.
And sauerkraut.
I think this means that I have to try this, right?
Absolutely.
But you know what, Fritz?
What's that?
If I try it,
Sure.
you're trying it with me.
Absolutely.
So we have 2 here.
Yep.
So I say we do a toast, and once again, when the Viking guests are getting off the ship, they can come down here, they can shop around, try some of these different items,
right?
And then you can even send them back home, right?
Right, and yes, that's true. And there's several places on the street within this block that serve this product.
All right, ready?
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for the education. It's the 2-beer rule.
That is correct.
Oh, wow. I'm sold. Art enthusiasts will want to consider stopping by the St. Kate, which is located just about a block from the Riverwalk, right down from the Bronze Fonds. There's a number of different art galleries here, and of course, in the lobby, the infamous horse. Viking guests that maybe come in a little bit early or stay a little bit late, pre or post their cruise, may want to come up here to what's called the Deer District. Right now, I'm at the New Fashion, which is one of many different bars and restaurants in this area. This is also where the Milwaukee Bucks NBA team plays, right behind me here. And it's a great area to just kind of sit back, relax, and enjoy a little bit of the sports and entertainment. All right, and you can even take your hand at learning how to curl. Okay, so we're here at Mater's, which is on Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in the Old World 3rd Street area. And I'm here with Jackie. So Jackie, this quest to find out more and more about the German heritage here in Milwaukee continues. So tell us a little bit about the history of Mater's. It's been here since 1902.
Yes, Todd. We've been a family-owned restaurant since 1902. We started as a restaurant called The Comfort on Water Street. And then Celia Mater, when Prohibition struck, changed the whole aspect of the restaurant and kind of made it more food forward. So Mater's is now serving pork shanks and her family recipes back from her homeland in
All right, so
Korea.
she brought all the family recipes back from Germany right here. I understand things have changed a little bit because back then a steak dinner was 20 cents and lunch was 4 cents. A stein of beer was 3 cents. And from what I understand and from what I've read around this place is if you drank 2 of the steins of beer, your lunch was totally free. Is that true?
100%,
Holy
absolutely.
cow. Well, I can definitely smell the food from the kitchen and some of these traditional German foods that you guys serve here. So I think it's time for me to give it a try. We're here with Chef Tony Hood, who's going to tell us a little bit about some of this food that Celia brought back from her home country. And first question I have for you. So I understand that if you drank 2 steins of beer, you got a free lunch.
Yes.
Okay, Chef Tony, you have to tell me, this is an awfully big beer. So 2 of these for a free lunch?
Yes. 2 of those for a free lunch.
Okay, well, I got to tell you, I don't know if I would make it to the table after 2 of these just for that free lunch, Tony, but that's a lot. All right, so Celia brought these recipes back with her from her home country.
Yes.
So explain some of these traditional German foods that we're looking at here.
Well, on this plate here we have the Rouladen. This is a rolled beef tenderloin with pickles, onions, and bacon in the inside, with a red wine reduction sauce.
Okay, so what is the noodle?
The noodle is a Spätzle.
That's Spätzle.
Yes, our traditional German pasta.
Okay. Wow, I got to be honest with you. I've never had Spätzle.
Oh.
Tony, I've never had it.
It's delicious.
Okay, what do we have here?
And this is our tour of Germany that we offer here at Mader's. This is our Kessler Rippchen, our German potato salad, a pork cutlet, and which is schnitzel. And then once again, we have our German pasta, which is Spätzle. And we have our marinated sauerbraten.
Okay, so what is sauerbraten?
Sauerbraten is marinated beef, which is marinated for like 10 days, and then it's roasted in the oven and cured. And then the sauce on top is a lovely ginger snap sauce. And then I offer a bratwurst, a knockwurst, and a weisswurst as an upcharge.
All right, so this is, if you were to say, I want to sit down and try everything German in one sitting, and I want to just have a taste of Germany as if I was in the Black Forest or something, you'd sit down and this would give you the whole taste.
This would give you the whole taste. And don't forget about your Buddha beer.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, if I had 2 of those, I'd never make it to any of these. All right, out of all these things on the table right here in the Taste of Germany, and I said I am only going to try one, and let's see if I do, what would you say was the number 1 item?
Our Wiener Schnitzel.
And that's right here?
Yes.
And the German potato salad looks awfully good too. So what do we have here?
This is our pork cutlet, our Wiener Schnitzel with on a bed of Spätzle and lemon on top as a garnish.
Okay, now you have 2 sides over here, and this one smells very good. What are we looking at here?
We're looking at red cabbage, and we're looking at our traditional house sauerkraut.
Okay, well, you know what? It smells so amazing. And how many years have you been working here?
I've been working here 29 years.
29 years?
Yes.
Holy cows! That's a long time.
Yes.
I mean, right now it's called Mader's, and then someday is it going to be called Chef Tony's?
No, we're always going to keep the name.
We're always going to keep the name. All right, Chef. I think I need to try this German potato salad. And while I'm trying this, you tell me what goes into German potato salad.
It's roughly nice sauteed red potatoes and our traditional house recipe of hot bacon dressing.
Oh, man. That is good. Well, this cabbage is calling my name as well. I want to try this, but Chef, wow, that is amazing.
Thank you very much.
You got to come over here and try that.
Goodbye,
Thanks, Chef Tony. When your Viking cruise is in port, you may want to head downtown Milwaukee and enjoy the Riverwalk. It's 1.5 miles long. It's right on the Milwaukee River. There's great bars, there's great restaurants, just places to relax and enjoy the river. There's also boat rentals, stand-up paddle boarding, kayaking. They even have a brat cruise. And one of the highlights is this guy right here. This is the Bronze Fonz. And when Henry Winkler was in town, he said he's actually shorter than the Bronze Fonz. This is a great place, of course, for a photo op. I certainly have enjoyed my time in this beautiful city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, arriving on Lake Michigan on this beautiful expedition ship, and I'm sure you will as well. Cheers.